Hi, guys. Today's episode is it's kind of a different case than we typically do. Still involves some tragic deaths, unfortunately, innocent victims, but it is a bombing this time. We don't cover a lot of bombing stories. Um, we have three victims. It's 1985, Salt Lake City, Utah. The victims came from different backgrounds and they had some commonality, though. And it took investigators a while to figure out just exactly how and why they were chosen. So stay tuned in order to find out what happened. Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Welcome to our show. Two peas in a crime pod, don't you know?
Episode 52.
52.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you will consider liking and subscribing the video.
I'm
Please.
here with this hoe.
Don't you know? It's time to get going.
You soiled it.
I'm a do-de-do.
That's better.
Anyways,
Subscribe.
please, we really appreciate that, and it helps our channel if you can take a second to do that.
It helps me. I'm a single mom. Support single moms.
I'm an old grandma.
Solidarity.
It helps me support old grannies. Solidarity.
It helps her take care of my broke ass.
Anyways, we don't have time. We usually ramble on with some sidewinders.
Yeah, those of you that
stories.
fucking hate that, you're going to be psyched today because today we got to jump right into the story and I can't do any sidewinding.
We're going to get right into it.
Mom, tell me about crime. What's
Okay.
your VD?
Well, the VD, viewer discretion. Today we have bombings. So we're talking about death by bombs.
Yikes.
If you're not into that, or that's going to trigger you,
If that's not your kink, fair. But
you don't want to miss this though. It's really a good story. You're going to love it. But anyways, the first bomb on the morning of October 15th, 1985. Someone constructed a homemade pipe bomb and placed it in a cardboard box addressed to Stephen Christensen, otherwise known as Steve.
okay.
He was a 31-year-old Salt Lake City businessman and collector of historical documents.
Oh, okay.
The bomb was packed with nails and other shrapnel to amplify its lethality, a detail noted in retrospective accounts of this case. Christensen picked up the parcel outside his office door inside the building.
Yeah.
And as he bent down to open it, the device detonated with devastating force, and he died at the scene from his injuries. Terrible. So, Steve was only 31 at the time of his death. He was a bishop in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and he had wide community respect. Witnesses in the building reported seeing a man carrying this package shortly before or around the time of the bomb explosion, particularly in the elevator. Multiple individuals independently corroborated the sighting. Then, later that morning, on October 15th of 1985, just hours after the first bomb killed Steve Christensen, a second package exploded at a residence in Holiday, Utah. The device was similar in design to the first. It was a homemade explosive rigged to detonate when handled.
Okay.
Kathy Sheets was 50 years old at the time of the bombing. Neighbors found her lying in the driveway near her home shortly after the explosion, and she had apparently picked this package up and it set off the bomb. The blast inflicted catastrophic injuries, including severe lacerations and the loss of her arm, and she died at the scene.
Yeah, just so you know, if you ever ship me something unexpectedly, like for instance, Kim sent us these, but she said ahead of time, hey, I sent you something. If you ever ship me something to be cute and I didn't know and I didn't order anything, I'm calling the fucking bomb squad before I'll be like, there's a package here, come check it out. I ain't touching this motherfucker. They're going to open it and it's going to be like a glitter bomb of little confetti dicks, and I'll be like,
Oh,
just I had no idea,
that
your
was from my
officer.
mom.
I'll be like, this actually makes a lot of sense now, and that was funny, but it, I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Right.
So, Kathy was actually married to a guy named Gary Sheets, and he was a business associate and former employer of Steve Christensen, the first victim.
Right.
So, Christensen and Sheets had worked together at CFS Financial Services, which was a business that at the time was rumored to be in financial trouble. Early in the investigation, that financial link was one of the first motives law enforcement considered.
So is everybody that ever worked for CFS about to get a fucking bomb, or
Right,
is
right.
it just those two? Like, right, like
Yeah, I
who are we
mean,
worried about? Yeah.
they definitely found this to be urgent, you
Yeah.
know. So, at the Sheets residence, police collected the bomb fragments, including metal shrapnel and remnants of a triggering mechanism. This mechanism was made out of mercury, so it's when it's sitting like this and it's balanced in the middle,
Yes.
the bomb doesn't explode. But as soon as you move the
The mercury
package,
falls into whatever the substance, what a
the
powder or
trigger,
whatever. Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
yes, and then the bomb explodes.
That's what causes the ignition.
So they also found pieces of brown paper and partial fragments of the package wrapper, and analysts found the address had been written in the same type of marker used on Steve Christensen's bomb.
I'm just laughing because if I was the bomber, this is why that would never be my method of choice, because I have the shortest attention span.
Oh God.
And I would like start out like walking like so carefully, and then I would like see something shiny and immediately forget and like be
That you're
like,
holding an
why am I
explosive?
holding this box so weird? And I'd like put it under my, like, yeah. I would definitely kill myself
Oh man.
almost instantaneously.
Yeah, don't ever become a bomber.
No, I do not have the attention span for that at all.
You'd make a good sharpshooter
Absolutely.
if you're going to become a murderess.
If I was going to be something terrible.
I see you like in that movie with Bridget Fonda where she's,
What the fuck is that?
oh, you don't know? Did you ever see Single White Female?
No. No.
Point of No Return, I think it's called. The movie I'm talking about.
Was she a cool, really cool sharpshooter?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. So, bomb technicians learned that all explosive devices in the case used similar construction patterns, including smokeless powder and timing or triggering mechanisms typical of homemade bombs.
Yes.
In the immediate aftermath, police initially worked under the theory that the bombs were related to business disputes involving Christensen and Sheets's financial ties. The rapid timing of the second blast heightened urgency among officers to find the link.
Yeah.
At least one neighbor at Sheets's residence recalled seeing a man walking near the Sheets residence and then driving away in a tan minivan. So right now, all they have is tan minivan, and then the description of the man at Christensen's office, as well as the description of the guy at Sheets's office. Then, the next day on October 16th, a bomb exploded in a man named Mark Hoffman's vehicle while he was inside of it. The explosion occurred in the driver's seat area. Mark survived but sustained serious injuries. His injuries included severe lacerations, extensive hand injuries, loss of part of a finger, burns and blast trauma to his midsection, eardrum damage, and embedded shrapnel.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
The pattern of injuries was concentrated in his lap area, not on his face or chest, and his hands showed injuries consistent with being very close to the device at detonation. He told authorities that he had discovered a bomb in his vehicle on the driver's side. Well, I'm sorry, a box. He didn't know it was a bomb at
Right.
the time. When he opened the door, the package fell to the floor well of the driver's seat and exploded. That's what he said.
Yeah.
But forensic analysts indicated that the bomb appeared to have detonated from his lap or directly in front of him, not from the floorboard. The blast trajectory suggested the device was positioned close to his hands at ignition. So he hadn't even sat down. He was just standing there, and the bomb, he said, fell off the seat onto the floor,
But the
which would have been
injuries
around his legs,
but the injuries were more like he was
right here in this area in a
seated in it.
midsection, and his hands.
So why would you lie about where the bomb went off?
Yeah, the contradiction.
Unless he had a traumatic brain, unless he, I don't know. I feel like you would remember if you got into your car and, oh, what's this package?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have any damage to his head.
Yeah.
So it just, it's making the investigators like, something's a little off on this one.
Yeah.
Bomb technicians determined that the third device was constructed similarly to the first two bombs. Components and construction style indicated a common maker, and the triggering mechanism was consistent with the other two. Okay. It was a mercury thing. So it suggested that the same person built all three. Well, let's talk about who Mark Hofmann was. He was born December 7th of 1954 in Salt Lake City. And he became fascinated with Mormon-related collectibles early on in life. As a youth, he was already buying historic Mormon items. He went to an LDS mission to England and later attended Utah State University and married a woman named Dora Lee Olds in 1979. Hofmann ended up growing into a rare document dealer with an extraordinary niche. He produced items that were tied to early LDS history. These items were major historical discoveries. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay.
I'm just rolling my eyes because the LDS religion is such a crock of shit.
Oh.
The whole fucking story is fucking bizarre. And I just feel like he's finding these rare documents, aka he went into his basement and made them.
Well, his documents were tested and inspected and found to be authentic by the leaders of the LDS Church, historians, archivists, librarians, and experts. In other words, people whose job it is to verify authenticity, including the FBI.
Okay.
The big ticket item most people have heard of is the salamander letter.
Yes.
Oh, you have heard of it?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I know you're like probably just...
That's what the whole, that's the gist of it.
Okay, so it describes Joseph Smith in folk magic framing and a white salamander element that drew intense controversy.
Yeah, it's just this old it's just some bullshit that was written like 100 years back by the people who started this bullshit. Other religions, Christianity.
Don't they have the Angel Moroni or something like that?
That doesn't sound familiar to me, but maybe.
The Angel Moroni is the one that came down and told him everything.
I'm not sure. The info in my head, but anyways, there are other religions that are thousands of years old that can be dated back to when people were writing about them forever ago,
Right.
Religions older than Christianity.
Yes.
That can be dated 4,000 back
4,000 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you've got these Mormons that think that they've figured it out with some shit that started 100 years ago. Okay. I'm sure that's it. That makes the most sense. And they're yes, these are authentic 100-year-old. I'm do you know how old the fucking planet is, guys? Come on. The whole, it's it blows my mind. That's what I'm saying. It blows my mind.
I know it does. It blows my mind too. I mean, all of it. Scientology.
This is legit. Okay, yeah. Some fucking wackadoo wrote this fucking story about John Smith 100, congratulate. Can you imagine like what our ancestors were writing about 100 years ago? I'm sure they were just as batshit crazy. You know, like
No, I get it.
fucking bipolar and anxious and manic. The whole thing is just whack. Anyways, all right. So we got this guy who collects bullshit.
Well, yeah, in the 80s.
And that doesn't mean that he deserves to have a bomb go off in his lap. That's terrible. I'm not saying this is
She's like, blow this motherfucker up.
complete you fucking lying
You
sack of
fucker.
shit with your fake fucking religion. Boom. No, not at all. Just like when we did the story about the Amish, like I can think your religion is bullshit and we can disagree. I would still, it doesn't
But she
mean that
doesn't
I
think people should run you over.
it doesn't mean that I wouldn't even be friends with you, or I would never wish ill on you because of it. Like, that's odd. That would be like, that's weird behavior. I'm like sad that these people got their fucking faces blown off. It's terrible.
I think our one friend, John, the bassist, is Latter-day Saints.
John the bassist.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. I'm sorry. I think your religion's totally fucking fake and bogus. Sorry.
I'm not sure if that's what it is or not. I know it's something different, and the Sabbath is on Saturday.
And isn't that Judaism?
No, he's not Jewish.
Oh, maybe it's just similar. They took it from the Jews.
I feel
Whatever.
like it's Latter-day Saints.
I don't fucking know. All I'm
Anyways.
saying is, whatever. I'll see you in hell. That's what I'm saying.
The thing was, in the 80s, these weren't just collectibles. They were artifacts that had to do with faith history, public image, scholarship, and they were very important documents.
And they sound really legit because guess what people still had access to 100 years ago? The Bible, all of those stories, and all of the other religion, Hinduism, Buddhism, all of all of that shit, which had been around and been studied for centuries. People had knowledge of. So you
Yes.
got to think, by the time that we're creating these religions within the last century, we have people that know a lot about what makes a book sound,
Yes.
what makes a story sound like
legit.
it's really good. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes.
Like,
It's not a mystery. Yeah. So once Mark Hoffman's bomb exploded, detective realized the common denominator between the victims was Hoffman's document dealing with Christensen and Sheets.
I do know this story also. Like, I know that I've watched something, like a full-blown documentary on this, but like,
Okay.
it is not like normally the pieces start falling into place and I'm like, oh, it's going to be this, this, this. And that's still not happening. But I know that
You've heard it.
I know this. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the third bomb was pivotal because it caused them to figure out what the link was.
Yes.
And the link is Hoffman and his dealings with Christensen. Here's the thing. Early in the investigation, forensic experts examined the components. He came up with the mercury switches that were used as the triggers.
Yes.
All right. I'm just going to paraphrase all this because we don't have time to read 6 pages about it. But it's basically they found out you buy that at Radio Shack, which no longer exists. But Radio
Right.
Shack was a thing in the 80s.
And one of the things that they sold had that component in it.
Yes. So,
Howie Mandel did the commercials for Radio Shack.
oh, I didn't know that. I
Isn't
love
that-
Howie.
No, never mind. I said the wrong name.
Okay.
Howie Day. Why am I saying the wrong name? It's
don't
not
know.
Howie Mandel. Howie, wasn't it a football player?
I don't watch football.
Yeah, I said Howie Mandel and I meant Howie Long. Yeah, no, it's Howie Long. He used to do all the fucking "you've got questions, we've got answers" commercials.
Oh, okay.
He was the guy with the glasses that did all those commercials.
I can't remember, but I
This is a pivotal part of the story.
okay.
Just kidding.
Basically, back then in the 80s, we didn't have credit cards that you could put into a machine and take out. You had to make a copy of the card, and then the person had to write their name, address, and all that information on the sheet.
And then it was like typed in later.
It was, yeah, like sent to the bank and all of that was done. So they have these copies of it's like a carbon copy of the card. And
Because that's what like the little raises in the card. We don't have raises anymore. It's like ink on the card now.
Right.
But credit cards used to be
the numbers used
the
to pop
numbers were
up.
like you could feel them.
Yeah, like Braille.
Yeah. And they would run something over the carbon copy paper that would
Transfer
like when
the
you do
numbers.
like when you do the pencil transfer.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was like that. So basically, they had to look through thousands of receipts at every Radio Shack in the state of Idaho, and try to find somebody that bought these items that had these mercury triggers.
Yeah. See if there's any names that ring a ding bell.
So they came across, let's see. Okay. Basically, even rookies spent weeks going box by box and stack by stack looking for names associated with these mercury switches.
Let me guess though, after bomb went off in dude's lap, no more bombs.
No more bombs. Um, Eventually, one detective found a receipt showing the purchase of mercury switches under the name Mike Hansen. That name matched an alias found earlier in Hoffman's effects. Specifically, police had discovered an envelope with the name Mike Hansen during a search of documents at Hoffman's house. So Mike Hansen was a known alias of Hoffman.
So Hoffman did exactly what I said I would do if I was trying to hand deliver bombs.
He bombed himself.
And he was like, "Oh, it's time to get in the car." And he like picked it up carefully and then like hit it on his leg and tipped it over on himself and blew his fucking lap up in his own
His
car.
fingers off. Yep.
Yeah.
So now, after Hoffman fell under suspicions, they searched his home and workspace and they found materials for document forgery, including supplies used to produce forged historical documents like ink and old paper.
That's odd.
They found bomb making materials and related components and evidence that some of the documents he had been selling to collectors and institutions were forged or artificially aged. So, basically, the investigation went from bomb case to paper case, and now they have to tie them together.
So did the other guys know he was forging the documents, blackmail him, or they were going to tell and he had to get rid of them? Or is it like a something, you know, like why, like where are we, do they tie together at all? Or did he sniff too much ink from like dying documents and one day he fucking snapped and...
I mean, basically, they did this whole test on this ink. They found a recipe for ink in his effects. So this guy uses the recipe and makes the ink. And I'm just paraphrasing, but what they found was when you microscopically look at the writings on the documents of old, real documents.
Yes.
It looks one way. But when you use this ink recipe that looks like old ink, it has this crackling in it that kind of looks snakeskinny.
Okay.
And it's only when you use this recipe for this old ink. So, yes, it has the components in it that old ink used to have. But when you try to age it and you microscopically look at it.
So when you do the initial test that historians do to see if it's like old ink or if it's authentically old paper, authentically old ink, it'll pass that first round of testing. And if it passes that, what more testing do you need, you would think? Because if this ink is this ink that they only used a couple hundred years ago, case closed, right?
Yeah, right.
But now that they're seeing like, oh, wait, what if we do the second round of testing to see if it's
if there's anything else that we can find out about it.
manufactured with, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, so
and they're like, oh, actually, this wasn't old ink.
So what he would do would be taking paper from old documents,
Yeah.
like blank pages, and then create the new document using this ink recipe. And it would look totally legit except for under microscope where it would
Yeah.
always be crackled. Okay, so even experts who initially authenticated the documents were completely fooled by
Someone
this.
like me was like, I fucking knew this was bullshit, and now I finally.
Now, how many documents did they discover were forged? 446 definite, but thousands potentially that this guy had been selling. He's selling these to the Mormon church,
Yeah.
as well as one forged poem attributed to Emily Dickinson. I mean, this guy is creative, right? But okay.
If that's all he had ever done and he didn't go like bomb people, I might be this guy. I might champion him, a hero.
Right.
Like, haha, he fucking fooled all you. And he wrote in some weird shit about a white salamander just to fucking make your story even weirder. You know? Like,
Right.
he was really fucking with y'all. I might have been like, put a poster of him on my wall,
Yeah.
you know? But I don't necessarily believe in
Yeah, what he ended up doing
exploding people.
is how did you go from a forger to this? And I'll tell you how. The ticking clock narrative. Hoffman and collector Stephen Christensen were scheduled the very morning of the murders to close a sale involving the McClellan collection, quote unquote, described as very controversial. So LDS leader Hugh Pinnock arranged for this collection to be purchased for 185 grand. And the bank loan that was tied to this was in default because they hadn't started paying back the loan because they didn't have the papers yet. There was going to be, so this guy was going to sell. He paid Hoffman 185, got a loan for that, and then needed the collection to sell it so he could pay the loan.
Right.
So now the loan is behind and they need the collection today.
Yeah.
Or we're going to call back that 185.
And he's like, I'm still writing it. Calm down.
So the exposure isn't theoretical. It's just imminent. It's inevitable. That's the word I'm trying to find.
I knew.
Basically, the McClellan collection was a group of documents that Hoffman claimed to have discovered that was written by this man named William McClellan. And I mean, he's very creative. He's just like
Where are you going to discover this shit?
I know.
That would be my, like, he, like, walks into a cave and 4 minutes later, he, like, pulls it out from under his dick, and he comes out and he goes, I fucking just found this in here. This is wild. You should read these. Like,
that's how it works. Basically, McClellan was supposed to be an early apostle of the LDS Church and later became estranged from the church, he was known historically for being critical of Joseph Smith.
ooh, the plot thickens.
If the papers were authentic, criticizing early LDS leadership would have been very explosive. So it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah. Your whole doctrine might be fucking changing.
Yeah.
You might have, like, ELDS, like extra Latter-day Saints.
Collectors wanted them, church leaders wanted them, historians wanted them, and investors saw value in that. And so this guy, Hoffman, was a genius.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
But there was one massive problem. It didn't exist. It was totally fabricated, and he was going to get caught.
he had writer's block, and he was like, fuck, they're breathing down my neck for these papers, and I just cannot figure out what to make McClellan say next.
Right. If he had gotten caught this time, everything would have fallen. He would have had lawsuits. He would have gone to jail.
Oh, yeah.
It would have ruined his reputation. I mean, to say the least.
Yeah.
So that was his motive. How the victims tied to the collection. We already know how Christensen tied. He had the meeting with him that day. Why Gary Sheets? Just because Sheets was his former employer, he thought
He
he
was,
could make it look like it was those two. Somebody's out to get them once they're dead.
it
Now,
has to do with that bank or whatever.
and then he doesn't have to come up with these documents to give him anymore because nobody else knows about it. And see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he's just trying to. It's like a red herring. He's just
Yes.
trying to make it
Look
like
over
it's-
there.
Exactly.
Dig over there.
Right. And on February 4th, 1986, prosecutors charged Hoffman with 2 murder counts and numerous, who knows who that third person was.
Well, I was gonna say somebody from the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, having to do with those two.
Yeah, just the third one was supposed to just be like some fucking old Joe Schmo bank teller that was completely
Yeah.
out of left field.
But they numerous fraud and theft by deception related counts tied to the documents, including the Harris letter and the non-existent McClellan collection. So, Hoffman pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder and theft by deception in a plea arrangement that allowed him to avoid potential death and exposure, or I'm sorry, potential death penalty if convicted at trial. So he was
At that point, you had your fucking hands and fingers and your guts all fucked up. I'm guessing if it was in your lap, your dick's a mess. Why wouldn't you want the death penalty? Well, like, what's your quality of life? Really?
well, he's probably afraid he's going to hell. Just postpone the burning.
I guess. I don't know. What? Maybe.
He was sentenced to 5 years to life, and the judge recommended that he never be released.
5 years to life? Is
I
that
know.
just because there wasn't stricter punishments on bomb? Like,
I don't know, but in 88,
he
so-
intentionally killed people.
I know.
That was first degree murder.
But he pled guilty to second degree murder. That was in 87 in January. In 88, the Utah Board of Pardons decided he must spend the rest of his life in prison. So he would not be eligible for parole, or basically he could not be paroled.
Okay.
But yeah.
Just what a weird, like, just to say, like, 5 years to life.
I know.
That's a fucking, you might just do 5 years, you might never fucking get out. What a weird, like, why is that even a thing that anybody would say?
Right.
That's so weird.
It is weird.
It's a roll of the dice. Hope you don't get snake eyes, buddy. Like, I don't know. That's why, that whole story. I do, like, I know I watched something on that, but it was like its own, it wasn't like a 48 hours. It was like its own documentary on
On the case.
and,
Okay.
and all that. I can't remember now, though.
I wish
but
I could see. Well, I'll look it up because to me,
it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And they do go into all of that. But yeah, I just,
yeah, there's a lot of detail about how he forged these documents. It's incredible.
yeah. He had them all so snowed.
He did. But that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We've got some great cases coming up for next week, so stay tuned. And again, thank you very much. We appreciate you. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing.
We love you, subscribers.
We do. We drop our episodes Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So tune in
All
next
right.
time.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Adios.